What's going on, people? Hope you're doing good. Welcome to a double review. We've got two 2024 movies to review today, Trap and Borderlands. Hopefully it's a good video. We're going to start off with Trap. Let's start off with Trap. So Trap is directed by the man, the myth, the legend, M. Night Shyamalan, and it stars Josh Hartnett. And in Shyamalan's new movie, a father takes his daughter to a concert and he realises that he's part of a trap to catch a serial killer. Little do we know that we're actually following the actual killer. Trap was a movie that I was very excited for because it's M. Night Shyamalan. I've said it many times, his movies are like a box of chocolates.
You never know what you're going to get.
You don't know what you're going to watch. You could be watching the next Sixth Sense or you could be watching the next Last Airbender. So Trap was one of those where I was like, okay, this could probably be really good or really dumb. And you know what? I don't know how to feel about it. This is one of those movies where I walked out very conflicted. I knew it had both good aspects and bad aspects. But it was one of those movies where you understand its flaws, but you still were really intrigued throughout the entire way through and were stuck to your seat. Trap is full of plot holes. It has so many plot conveniences, contrivances, so many dumb moments that are just there to progress the story, even if it doesn't make sense. It's certainly one of those movies where the director really wanted you to turn your brain off and just watch the film. And I guess if you watch it in that manner, you'll enjoy this more than most people. But if you think about each scene for 1 second, it just doesn't make any sense. What Shyamalan was clearly trying to do was showcase how a serial killer can easily manipulate people and how he can get round situations using his skills. And that is a great idea. That is a good movie I'd like to watch. But unfortunately, the movie doesn't showcase that because the killer kind of gets around things because everyone around him is dumb and luck goes on his side. And when you look at that aspect, this movie is pretty bad with that. And it still is. But also this movie is kind of not taking itself that seriously. And it kind of embraces its dumbness in a way. Especially with the latter half of this movie. So, I don't know, like, it's kind of like the Happening situation where Shyamalan says, oh, it's meant to be a B movie. And I'm looking at this, and he's kind of like implementing very B movie aspects into this film. It's so weird, like, it's dumb, it's stupid, but it's still very intriguing, and you want to see what happens next. So, it's one of those cases, like, I don't know how to feel about it, really. It's certainly one of those movies where I think I need to watch it again to get a full grasp of what I think about it. So I probably will see this again very soon. But yeah, I just don't really know what to think about this movie, really. There are a few things that I can confirm I do believe in. For one, Josh Hartnett was really great as the killer. He was very goofy at times and over the top, but I think he pulled off that side with the very dark side of his character really well. There's so many times where he has to change facial expressions from light, happy, jolly guy to serious, sinister, and I think he did a really good job with that aspect of his performance. But I will also say that he plays the most shady-looking, joyful guy ever. Because in so many scenes where he's trying to act like a normal person, he is acting super suspicious. If this guy came up to me acting like that, I would immediately think something was up.
You're kind of dope, right?
But for some reason, his over-the-top manner was charming. I don't know, it fit the dumbness of the movie in a sense. Another thing that I thought was really great was actually the music. Now, I'm not a pop music guy. In fact, I can confidently say I do not like modern pop music whatsoever. There's probably the odd song that I like. But Selika, or Seleka's music, the daughter of Shyamalan actually, she was actually really good. Like, she's certainly got talent, and she actually has some good songs. In fact, I liked a couple of them so much that I've actually downloaded them on Spotify. So, Seleka or Selika, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, keep it up. You got some talent. I hope your career goes well. And I think some of the original music, with no Selika in, was really strong too. We know that Shyamalan likes to use this weird violin sort of music a lot to build tension. And for me, it always works in his films, and it works here too. And I also think this movie is well directed and shot. For the most part, I don't like the fact that he just places a camera right in front of an actor so they're just staring down the lens. That just looked really weird to me, and I don't know why he did that. But for the most part, I do think this movie is well directed. There are some really good shots. The concert is showcased very well. So yeah, I really had not that many problems with how this movie looked. And when it comes to the writing, I do think that there was a few interesting aspects. The serial killer has OCD in this film, and you can tell. I don't know, it was kind of creepy how one moment he's shouting at a person, threatening them, and then he just goes back to, like, straighten a towel. Or when he's about to kill someone, he takes his shirt off and he has to fold it neatly. I don't know, it was kind of like little moves like that were actually kind of unnerving to me. But one thing that was a bit off about the story and the writing was that this is basically an advert for Shyamalan's daughter's music career. And as I said, her performance was not bad at all, like she was a great singer. But this is a movie, not a concert. There's so many scenes in the first half where we're just showing her performing and the music. And then the odd time we'll cut back to the killer just doing that, and then he'll look around like menacingly a bit. That was actually kind of funny. He's just stood there dancing along. So it was just like moments like that where I was thinking, okay, her performance is really great, but come on, let's see what happens next. And really, that's what I can say about Trap. It's a weird movie. It's certainly going to be one of those movies where you're going to have people saying it's the best movie ever, people saying it's the worst thing ever, it's a disease on humanity, and people who are kind of in the middle. And I say I'm kind of on each of the three sides in a way. It's very bad in most parts, it's pretty good in many parts, and it's kind of mid as a whole. But then I'm also gearing towards the good and the bad side. I don't really know what to think about this. I would highly suggest you see it, though, and make up your own opinions. I'd like to see what you think about this in the comments. Just for me, I don't really know what to give this movie. So, just to be safe, I'm going to say that Trap was a solid M. Night movie. It's going to get a solid 6 out of 10 from me. But that's not 100%. I'm going to easily watch this again soon. And then maybe in my end of the year video, we'll get a full grasp of what I thought about this film. Now, let's move on to a movie that I had some very clear thoughts about. So Borderlands is directed by Eli Roth, the director of Thanksgiving, Hostel and The Green Inferno. But it also kind of isn't his movie because Tim Miller, the director of Deadpool, directed some of this as well. So we kind of have two directors here. And it stars Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jamie Lee Curtis, Ariana Greenblatt, Jack Black. The whole crew's here in this film. And in this movie, based off the popular video game series, a ragtag group of misfits go on a journey to recover treasure from a hidden vault. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know anything about Borderlands. I've never played it, I don't really know what it's about. The only thing I know is that we have that guy with the weird oxygen mask on. That's literally the only thing I know about Borderlands. So, I kind of had no excitement for this film. I was like, yeah, it could be fun. Like, the trailers weren't terrible. I thought, could be a fun little summer blockbuster, like Guardians of the Galaxy in like a wasteland. Could be a bit of fun. And then the reviews came out. Now, when I see a movie getting the coveted, prestigious 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, I instantly gain interest in seeing it. I instantly think, how bad can this movie be? So, well, when I saw that rating, I instantly bought my tickets. I went to the cinema yesterday. And wow. Wow. This movie certainly lives up to the hype. I'm going to get my one and only positive about this movie out the way. Jack Black as Claptrap. He wasn't funny. He was actually kind of annoying in most parts. But Jack Black sounded like the only cast member trying. You could tell he was trying to make something about this movie entertaining. And even though his jokes were pretty bad, he was still pretty good in the role. So Claptrap was easily the more entertaining character. And Jack Black was clearly having fun. And now that's basically the only good thing about this movie. There was one joke that I went, heh. And that's it. That's the positives of the Borderlands movie, ladies and gentlemen. Because this movie is abysmal. The story and the writing is just really uninteresting. What could be like a fun road trip with the Guardians of the Galaxy searching for this vault. It sounds like a lot of fun. But unfortunately, that only works if you have interesting characters with distinct personalities and really good chemistry with each other. Unfortunately, that's the last thing this movie wants. None of the characters are really interesting. They don't really have anything to, like, distinct themselves from the other people. Everyone is kind of just there. Like, Claptrap had some personality, but everyone else was just so stern and boring. And that's mainly due to the acting. Cate Blanchett, we all know she's a great actress. There's a reason why she's Oscar winning. She looks like she'd rather be doing anything else than starring in this film. She's always acting so stoic and bland. Even when this big emotional scene is happening for her character, she's just looking at the screen like... just no emotion on the face. Kevin Hart as well just looks so uninterested. I've said many times, if Kevin Hart's not having fun, I'm not having fun. Because when he's having fun, he's actually funny. In this, he wasn't funny at all. So he was boring. And the other actors like Jamie Lee Curtis, and I'd like to say Ariana Greenblatt, but I don't know, she kind of looked like she tried. But let me just say this as a whole, none of these actors had chemistry. None of them worked with each other. They were just there. They weren't characters, it was just like statues in a way. The dialogue in this movie is just mainly jokes. And the jokes just fall flat all the time. As I said earlier, I went, heh, at one of the jokes. And that was it. How are we, right? How are we in 2024 still using jokes like, I'm getting too old for this, and Ewan Hughes Army, this one? How are we, 2024 years after the death of Christ, still using these cliche jokes? Like, surely you could have come up with something just a little bit different. This movie also feels like it's treating us like assholes and idiots. Because the exposition in this movie is just told, not shown. It breaks the show don't tell rule all the time. I'm not even joking, in the first 10 to 15 minutes, it's just voiceover about things. When it could have clearly been explained throughout the movie through interactions with the characters. Instead of just this lazy exposition dump on you. And like, there's many scenes where we're just told what the characters are feeling instead of being shown it through visuals. For example, and this is a light spoiler, two characters go into a house that's been blown up, whatever. It's one of the characters' house. And then one of the other characters asks, oh, is this your house? And the character goes, yeah. Well, geez, I didn't know that. It's like they were treating us like idiots. And technically and visually, this movie is just terrible. Claptrap was probably the only good bit of CGI in this film. Apart from a few moments where he looked like something off the Sci-Fi Channel, everything, I'm not even joking, every scene has green, blue screen for the backgrounds. Everything looks so polished when this is supposed to be like a desolate wasteland. Everything just looks so clean. It doesn't give off that dirty, grimy wasteland aspect. And also the practical backgrounds and sets look pretty terrible. Every bit of rock, metal, looks like polystyrene in this film. In fact, there's one moment in the film where a character lifts up this big, like, metal plate. He should be struggling like mad. Instead, he just picks it up like it's a float that you get in swimming pools and just chucks it away. So it was clearly not metal. It was clearly just, like, polystyrene or something. Like, that's how lazy this movie is. The music as well was just generic blockbuster music that you've heard like a million times. And the editing, whoa. It is very clear that this was supposed to be like 15, 18 rated. I don't really know about that, but 15 rated at a push. Blood, guts, everything. The action scenes are edited so weird, so we can't see any blood or people getting disintegrated. So they were clearly going for that 12A rating there. And the action was just edited so poorly. They tried to add flair to it, but it's just mainly shaky cam and all these cuts to hide the blood and gore and choreography. Most of the action is just people shooting randomly. So the action's not even entertaining as well. And if you want more indication about how lazy this movie was, they just leave in so many mistakes. Like, this is in the trailer as well. The first shot where they open up that hatch, you can clearly see like a crew member opening it up. And then there's one scene where we see a can of body spray on the table. Like, that's the Game of Thrones coffee cup situation all over again. Like, it's just so clear that there was so little effort put into this movie when small mistakes like that are left in. And as I said earlier, the acting was just uninspired. No one really cared. This movie, and I die a bit inside when I call this a movie because it's not a movie. It's a product. Like, consume the product. It's not entertainment. It's just a thing. You know, it's just not for anyone. As I said, I've never played the games, but from what I've heard, it's not faithful to them at all. And fans of the games are trashing this movie as well. So this movie is basically made for no one, really. So overall, whether you're a fan of the games or you're not, I really cannot suggest Borderlands because it's got no entertainment value. Jack Black was the only mildly entertaining thing about this movie. And that's it. No one seemed to care. The story and characters are uninteresting. The action's bland. Visually, it looks terrible. The editing's a mess. The action's a mess. The music's boring. This is a product, not a movie. Please do not spend your money on this. Make it flop. We were having good video game movie adaptations. And then we get this. We're back down to ground zero. So Borderlands, one of the worst movies of the year, is going to get a 1 out of 10. It's that bad. And yeah, guys, that's it for the end of this double review. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your thoughts on these movies in the comments. Did you like them? Did you not? Let me know. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Have a good day. I'll see you later.